This is the Tales from Davidstown podcast, delving into the behind the scenes of the audio series, graphic novel, and more, as well as speaking with the actors, writers, producers, and other creatives that bring the Davidstown world to life. This full-length episode for our Patreon residents was recorded on the 17th of February 2025 in York, England.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Tales from Davidstown podcast, here with me, Cal, sitting in for Luella this time. And I am very, very happy to bring this particular episode to you, because today we are talking with the one and only, the truly amazing Fenfen Huang. Hello.
Hi, Cal.
Nice to see you again.
So good to see you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, I love the studio. It's
looking all right, isn't it?
Yes,
it's
great.
shaped up quite nicely, yes. I think. Still a few tweaks to make, but we're getting there. So,
yes, great job.
Luella is actually on a tour at the moment on theatre, so I don't normally do this side of the camera work because I'm busy being behind the camera, but here we go. But you, however, are used to always being in front of the camera.
Not always.
Not always?
This one.
In this one?
Oh, well, not in camera.
No, not yet.
No,
we're working on that, camera-wise. But you've certainly spent a number of years as an actor.
Yes,
as a writer.
Writer, maybe 3 years.
As well, and a producer and a director, I believe, was on there as well.
Not so much producer, but I did produce a short film. So I've been directing for 3 years as well.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, you've got quite a few feathers in your cap then.
I would like to say that.
You're too modest. You're too modest. But you've been acting for a number of years, both back home in China and in the UK and all over the world, actually.
Yes. So I started doing some extra work when I was in university. That was 20 years ago. Oh, I'm telling my age. So that's when I started doing films and TV, not so serious acting. And then 2007, that was my turning point in my acting career.
Okay.
That year I did a Chinese action movie called Operation Red Sea. And that
Which is on Amazon?
It's on Apple TV right now.
On Apple TV right now.
It used to be on Netflix.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yes. And that film was a hit film in China. And in Asia, was 2018's biggest box office in Asia.
And you had a part in that?
Yeah, I played quite central part, actually.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, I haven't seen it. I know you did sort of forward me a link to something a while back. I hadn't got around to seeing it.
Yeah, you should watch it.
I will do.
It's great, yeah.
I will do. Especially, I didn't realize it was such a massive hit.
Yes, it was massive.
Right.
Yeah, all my friends were texting me in China. So, I saw you in cinema.
That's amazing.
It's very weird.
And what was the part you played?
I played. Can I say it?
Yeah.
Like a spoiler.
Yeah.
Okay. I played the hostage. So it's Chinese special forces. They came to rescue me. So
right.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like the very important threat of the. Yeah,
that's amazing. And that was 2007.
2000. So we filmed in Morocco. I filmed in Morocco in 2017. Sorry, 2017.
17. Sorry.
Yeah,
right.
sorry. I understood it wrong. 17. Then I kind of lost track of the time. 2017. Then the film was released in 2018.
Right. So still fairly recent then.
Yes.
I mean, ish.
Quite recent.
Ish.
Yeah.
Before everything.
Yeah. So we made the history of Chinese film.
Right.
Yeah.
And were you based in China at that point, or?
No, I was based here.
So you'd come to the UK.
They cast my character in the UK.
Right. Interesting.
And then I flew to Morocco. I was in Morocco for 2 months. That was amazing.
I bet it was.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's brilliant. Oh, well, and now you're in, at the moment, amongst other things, obviously,
I'm in York.
You're in York.
Yes.
Recording for another day on Tales from Davidstown.
Yes. Yeah.
And do you remember how you got the part of Ling? Do you recall? Because it's nearly been a couple of years since I think we had a conversation. But I'm just wondering if you recall the conversation.
I think you messaged me, and you were asking me about this Chinese mythology about the fox spirit.
Yeah.
And so so we kind of like, so I talked about, of course I know, because it's very well known Chinese legend or mythology. So we talked about this kind of like the story about fox spirit. Then he said, would like you to get involved in this production.
Yeah.
So here we go.
And here you go.
Yes, second season.
Second season. Although, if you're watching this on YouTube, whatever date this goes out for YouTube, the patrons always get this early, so the YouTubers get this later. Then you may be on the second season. So if I'll probably give you a fairly strict spoiler warning now. So if you haven't watched is coming. If you haven't listened to all of season 1, then you've been warned. There will be spoilers in this conversation. That's fine. That's fine. We've pre-warned them. So we did have that conversation, you're right. And
yes.
We spoke about Huli Jing.
Yes.
And I asked you, what the hell is a Huli Jing? And you said...
Yes. So when you ask me about Huli Jing, because in Huli Jing in Chinese is kind of has got quite negative intonation. So we think, Huli Jing is someone, it's like a homewrecker.
A homewrecker?
Yeah, sort of. So it's not like a very, not very good character. But it's kind of like when you talk to me more about the story you want to develop, I say, actually, Huli Jing was not necessarily a bad character.
Right.
So I actually looked more into the fox spirit myself.
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting, like why the fox became what she was, and the backstory. So it was really interesting for me to study more about my culture.
And it was really interesting to learn more about your culture in turn, because obviously we had to do a bunch of research with you and away from you to learn about certain ancient elements, because the legend of Huli Jing, similarly to Japanese kitsune and all the other sort of variants that exist in that part of Asia, that goes back thousands of years, right?
Yes.
So they're really old legends. They really kind of fed into the idea of who Mei Ling is and used to be.
Yes.
Despite your wonderful appearance, the character is very, very old, but and she's done some stuff and some not so good stuff. But I think when we were chatting about it, it was very much we wanted to create someone who'd been on a journey herself. Yeah. And started out as something maybe not quite so nice.
Yes. So I think my character is very complex and has got so many layers. It's great fun to play. It's very challenging as well. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to play Mei Ling.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And also as you mentioned, she's been on a journey, and Chinese people, we believe in past life, current life, and afterlife.
Oh, okay.
So we are who we are because who we used to be. So that's past life can affect you a lot.
Okay. And they're like completely separate lives.
Yes, but also kind of like connected,
right?
In a way.
Okay.
That's so I think that's what Mei Ling is.
Right. Well. Yeah. I mean, I love to hear everyone's interpretations of the characters we've created, because we've said a number of times the characters should be. We've created the characters, but we want our actors, yourself included, obviously, to really flesh out who these people are. Take the nuances and the character traits that there's a big part of that. I mean, I would argue, and you can tell me to shut up, and that's fine. I would argue there's a big part of you in Mei Ling and what makes Mei Ling. Now, obviously, Mei Ling's got her own supernatural story and so on. But I mean, out of interest, what parts of personality do you think you share with Mei Ling and Mei Ling's character?
Well, first of all, I think I kind of been on a similar journey. So Mei Ling came from China, even though she existed in China thousands of years ago, and then lives here in New York. And then I was born and grew up in China. I spent about 20 years in China. Then I moved to Liverpool.
Liverpool, of all the places, from China to...
it's a great city. Yes, so
you're a big fan of Liverpool.
Yes, so we kind of like share the similar life experience in both China and the UK. And personality-wise, I would say maybe fiery.
Fiery.
I can be fiery.
I'm not allowed to say anything, though.
Yes. Yes, I can be fiery and fierce. And also, she can be very caring. And I can be caring too. And she look out for people. Yeah, I think I can be like that as well.
What would you say your favourite parts of Mei Ling's character, or your favourite parts of playing Mei Ling?
My favourite part is to get dressed up, really. Get the opportunity to be in beautiful dresses.
Yeah, and you have been in some absolutely stunning outfits. And
thank you.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So you enjoy embodying the character entire.
Yes, and also it has got like a modern twist into it. It's not just like a ancient or traditional
something that's too something that's too old.
Yeah.
I mean, she lives in the modern day.
Yes,
in
exactly.
in North Yorkshire. So whilst she can still have, I suppose, a Chinese vibe connection.
Yes,
visually.
Yes,
it doesn't want to. Yeah, it doesn't look
definitely.
Too old.
Yeah. And also, of course, I loved, as I mentioned before, it's very complicated character. So it's just it's a great opportunity to challenge myself. Yeah, so I loved playing Mei Ling. Yeah, so thank you so much for the opportunity.
My pleasure. Thank you for being part of a family, the TfD family. Since you started, obviously, playing Mei Ling, now, I mean, again, we're coming up to 2 years. I think this summer will be 2 years since you originally took on the part. Had you ever played any supernatural characters previously, or is this the first time?
Not acting. So I was a dancer for many years. Right. Okay. For 15 years. So I actually produced and directed dance theatre, and I played White Snake. It's another very famous Chinese legend. White Snake became a human, fell in love with a boy. And this year is the year of the snake, so you should look into that character.
Okay.
So maybe we can create.
Do we need any more characters in the show right now? I don't know. We've got a lot to work with already. Maybe another one. Season 3. Who knows?
So I played that, and also another character is also a supernatural character. Is Moon Goddess.
Wow.
So so it's a myth behind Chinese Mid-Autumn Festival. Yeah, so she took a potion and flew to the moon. Then she separated from her husband, and then every year on the Mid-Autumn Festival, when we have full moon, they kind of reunite.
Right. Okay. So interesting. So the full moon plays a part in Chinese culture.
Oh
yes, as well.
Yes. Full moon is actually in Chinese culture. Moon is kind of symbol of romance or reunion, family reunion, or lovers get together. So something quite beautiful.
That's really interesting. And is it
wholesome?
How does it feel portraying? I mean, obviously portraying a character like Mei Ling, we've said. How have you found the experience of bringing something like the legend of the Hulijing into something that's set in, the north? The rural North England. How does it feel to have that kind of part of your culture exist in a story that is very much something that's said in England, I guess? I love it
because it's and also especially in York. York is very historic.
Yes.
And so it's kind of like blend Chinese culture with English history or culture. It's just like it's privilege for me to be involved in production like this, and it's very rare. It's very rare for me to have this kind of opportunity to play character which involve my heritage and also with British. Well, how do I say that? Like a British setting.
Yeah.
So it's very rare. So it's amazing.
I mean, we're using the show at the moment, at least anyway, outside of Hu Jing and other creatures that are appearing. So I'm trying to avoid the spoilers. But things like the werewolf, obviously, are primarily in the show. Emily's being our main character. She's a werewolf. As
yes, and a female.
And a female werewolf.
Yes,
yeah.
Great.
Are there werewolves in China? Does that legend exist in China?
Yes. Yes, we do have werewolf. And normally werewolf is kind of like, it's quite dangerous, scary. Yes, and that's how we normally see the character.
Is the werewolf legend as old as the Hu Jing legend, or is it more of a more recent thing? Do you know?
I think it's maybe more recent. Actually, it's more like Western.
Yeah.
So
So it
might come from West.
It's a European thing.
Yes.
I believe it started in Europe.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. But Hu Jing definitely more Chinese.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Hu Jing and Baigu Jing, and there's a whole array of different
Jing.
Jings. A whole array of what's the Chinese? How do you say werewolf in Chinese? Do you have a word for that?
狼人.
Oh,
so
gosh.
狼 is wolf, 人 means human.
Say again.
Or person. 狼人.
Right, I'll put that on the screen. I'm not going to try and butcher that because there's a tonality that you've got to observe as well, isn't it? Like a melody,
in Chinese language.
rather.
Yeah. So each word, every word has got a specific tone. Yeah. So
and then if you change the tone, it changes the meaning of the
different word.
Which I would be screwed.
You do so
trying to do it.
No, and also in the script, you had Chinese words in it and Chinese lines, which is great. It's like, oh wow, that's like it's kind of just it's very close to me to my heart. It's like, oh, I feel at home.
And you do speak some Chinese in the series,
yes,
occasionally.
Yes, I do. Yes,
we very rarely. I don't think we have as yet translated it on screen. So, but if you are a member of the Patreon community, you will have access to the scripts for the series, so you will actually be able to see what it is Mei Ling says when she speaks the Chinese. So in case you haven't seen that, you can go have a look at those now and find out, oh, okay, that's what she says. And the first time that Mei Ling meets Emily, which was in episode 4. Episode 4.
Yes.
Which we recorded such a long time ago now. It
feels like
it
was
ages ago, back when this was a little 15-minute 15-minute episode series, and now it's like 45 an hour long episodes. But I remember when we started doing those initial scenes between you, Mei Ling and Emily.
Emily, yes.
What did you think to that dynamic of between Mei Ling and Emily, and how that's sort of grown as we're now into season 2? What have your sort of thoughts and feelings on those two characters working and sort of growing together, so to speak?
So when I did the scene when Mei Ling just met Emily, I thought they didn't really like each other. So Mei Ling was a bit cold. Was a bit dismissive, and then it's just quite surprising and change in their relationship. I quite like it. It just became more. So obviously the Mei Ling wanted to help Emily, and she became warmer. And really cared about Emily. So it's just bring out different layer of Mei Ling, their character. So I really like the dynamics between them. So it was quite surprising for me as we developed the episodes. Yeah.
And of course, we didn't reveal that Mei Ling was the Huli Jing or the White Fox until the very end of season 1.
Yeah.
Did we? So there was always a little bit of a who is this person? What does she want? Kind of thing. And I suppose even now that we're into season 2, we're only just kind of finding out what the whole shtick behind Mei Ling's sort of reasoning and sort of the reason why she does things is.
Yes.
Which I won't get into too much now because we don't. Again, this is probably we're still very much raw season 2 as opposed to publicly released season 2, which will be not too far down the future. But and you have met Danny in person, I think, once, haven't you?
No, have I?
I think you might have met her once at a
No,
festival.
I met her on social media.
You met her on social media, right? Okay.
Yes.
And this is kind of the amusing thing is like we have these people, have all these characters, these actors, you guys playing quite close-knit characters, friendships and things. And half the time, you guys haven't even met each other in real life.
I know, it's weird, but it's. I really feel like I've already met her because she just apart from this production, obviously she did a fantastic job, and also or other work she put on social media and her life as well. I just feel like we have like a very like close family.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like we've known each other for a long time in reality as well.
Which is nice to know. It's nice when you get a bunch of people, bunch of creatives working together, sharing, I guess, ideas in a project like this. Although we write and produce this thing, obviously at Row.
Yes.
But we'd like people to be involved in sort of bringing, you bring in your ideas and even your culture, which I thought was, which I think is real fun.
Yes, I'm very grateful.
It's a lot of fun, and it really adds. I think it helps introduce Western listeners to something new as well. Maybe if you live in America, you may not have necessarily have heard of a Huli Jing before, or or if we have people listening in Asia, they may not have particularly heard of something that is a Western-based creature of myth.
Yeah.
So I think it's a nice way to sort of
blend both cultures.
Stir the pot a bit. I suppose.
Yes. Yeah.
But
well, thanks to you.
Well, not just me, but we have our whole team. Thanks to Julia, really. She's the one that keeps this thing going.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes.
You mentioned that Mei Ling's obviously quite a layered character. She's quite complex, which is nice to hear. What would you say? How do you go about bringing her to life? How do you take these layers, and how do you approach a character like that generally? And not just with Mei Ling. If you have a multifaceted, multi-layered character, how do you normally approach a role like that?
So I would look into the journey she's been on, what she was like before, what happened in the past, and what makes her who she is now, and the reasons and intentions behind her actions. I know, of course, with help from you, the director, amazing director.
Thank you.
So that's how I normally prepare for the character.
Right. Okay. And you mentioned before as well that obviously some scenes are quite challenging to perform, especially in just a voiceover capacity.
Yes.
How are you finding approaching that as an actor?
It's challenging. Yeah. But it's so rewarding. I learned so much. So I found that voice acting is it's quite different from like acting for TV and films. You can show your face because audience can see your face, can see your facial expression, can see your body language. But through voice acting, I found myself personally, I have to put maybe 120%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Energy and emotions into it. Yeah. And also I probably need to dive deeper into the character more to understand the complexity of the character. Yeah. Why, how and what they are doing right now is make sense.
Yeah. It's definitely trickier.
Yeah, it's definitely trickier.
Even from a production perspective.
Yeah, it's definitely trickier. But I learned so much from this production.
Yeah, I think we've all learned something, which is good. Because obviously I myself have started in, I've come from film, indie film. Although actually technically I came from musical theatre, but that's a different story. But I think from having done a lot of short films, worked on features and things, the common thing to remember was that sound is still so important as an experience, as part of the experience. And I think what's great about audio shows is that you can allow people's imaginations to do a lot of the work, right? So, when we've got such a talented bunch of actors in our show, you're doing all the great emotional work, and then we throw in all the sound effects and the soundscapes, and it helps, I think, sort of conjure the images. So people can play a film, I suppose, a film version or a TV version of it in their head, right?
Yes. Actually, yesterday when I was driving, I heard on the radio an actor said her acting teacher said voice or sound was the most important channel to convey emotions, and you can tell if someone's sad or happy through that sound. So I can really feel it when I'm doing this production.
It's very intense at times.
Yes, can be very tense. Yeah.
And obviously you've not to the level Danny has, but you've done at least one scene where you've transformed into your Huli Jing form.
Yes.
Which how was that? What was that? What was that experience like?
My voice hurt afterwards for sure. I screamed a lot. It's, and also even though it's just like we act only with voice, but still it's so much physical things going on as well, and energy. I kind of visualize myself transforming when I'm just doing the voice acting. So yeah,
you're really sort of diving into it then.
Oh yes, I really enjoyed it. But the good thing is about voice acting, people can't see my weird facial expression, so I don't need to worry about that.
Not yet, unless we get the live action.
Oh
episode.
yes,
and then it's a different story entirely, isn't it? But but it's, I think is it a lot of fun being able to play in that kind of world, I guess. And it's a very different. Like we said, it's a very different type of acting. I think even when we record the lines, it's not even a linear recording.
No.
We're doing like 3 lines at a time and in different ways.
Yes.
How do you find that sort of part of the process?
It can be quite challenging. It's like I flip from fierce to crying, from defensive to sad. It's just changed so much from one line to the other. Just like today, the session we did. So one is like I'm supposed to be regret, and then next moment is angry, and then next moment is sad, and then next moment is fiery. So just so I go, okay, so I have to flip my mind from time to time. But it's so much fun, and especially like in Mei Ling, just this character give me so much scope to play with. It's really good fun.
That's great.
Okay,
so a bunch of people have obviously stated in the past, a bunch of our actors and our team have stated in the past their favourite characters in the series so far. Hello, Zelda. Who is your favourite character in the series at the moment?
My favourite character? Can I say Mei Ling? Because I play it.
I mean, you could.
Yeah. So if I like, I'm gonna sound narcissistic, then I would say Mei Ling, or I would say Emily, because because Mei Ling cares about Emily.
Sure.
So yeah. Hello. Or maybe we should include him.
Zelda gets regularly featured by way of she just wanders in and does her own thing. But as long as she's not licking the mics, that's usually fine. Very distracting creature.
Oh, she's so cute.
You know, we
should have a cat spirit.
We maybe should, Emily does have a cat as a character. Emily has a cat, which hasn't featured all that much actually. The cat doesn't even have a name as yet, so we might put out there that our patrons name Emily's cat later down the line.
Yes.
Emily's werewolf hasn't eaten the cat yet, which is always a good sign.
Okay.
So, during the process of recording the series to date, have there been any sort of instances or any particular sessions that have surprised you at all?
As I said, my attitude towards Emily shifted from cold to warm, and Mei Ling really wanted to help Emily. That kind of surprised me. And also,
yep, but we've given spoiler warnings, so I think we're okay.
So it's like in season 2, someone from my past appeared. So that was kind of surprise as well.
If you could write in or create maybe elements of something for Mei Ling, or even in the show as a whole yourself, what would you think you'd like to sort of add in there? What kind of things do you think you'd like to see happen?
I would like to explore the past of Mei Ling, because we haven't really talked much about her past, but her past life actually plays very crucial part. So yeah, I definitely would like to explore what she was like, what happened in the past, and why she became she is now. Yeah.
Well, you're in luck in that case, because that is very much a season 2 plot line.
Yes.
You kind of already said that sometimes the performance side of things it takes a lot of energy. You may have broken a sweat more than once or twice.
Yes.
Was that a surprise that you had to put so much energy into voice acting?
Oh yes, definitely. Well, you're a very demanding director, I have to say. That is great. No, so I just scream, and then I got thrown around. I'm gonna be in pain. Gonna scream, growl, and then so it's like so much like I need to use my voice so much just to scream, to make different sound. And sometimes I could feel like I was lack of oxygen. Yeah. So
this seems to be a common theme with a lot of people on the cast, is that some definite breathing work.
Yes.
We might have to do a workshop on breathing work, I think.
Yes. Yeah, that will help. Yeah.
Mei Ling is I'd say she's a wise character. She's quite a wise person.
Yes.
What do you think, if you could channel Mei Ling right now, what kind of worldly advice do you think Mei Ling would give somebody? What do you think would be her go-to kind of piece of advice to impart upon somebody?
Maybe don't let your past hold back from becoming who you want to become.
Very good. I like that. I like that. And is that something that you think you'd connect personally with that piece of advice yourself?
Well, sort of.
Yeah.
I think that everyone in some stage, we all make mistakes.
Sure.
But we can't just let the past mistakes hold us back.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes it's quite hard for us to forget about what we did, or like other people may judge you.
Yeah.
From your past or from your mistakes. But I think the most important thing is move forward and become a better person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So I
Very
think
wise. Very wise. See, there's loads of mailing within you.
Oh, okay.
Apparently.
Yeah, mailing influenced me.
That's it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're no stranger to the horror genre, shall we say?
No, I did How to Kill Monsters.
How to Kill Monsters, and
Yes.
that was we filmed that back in, what year was that? 22?
2022, about 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Three
yeah.
or four.
And was that
No.
your first foray into horror?
Yes.
Or horror comedy, technically?
Yes, my first horror, my first comedy.
And how does that experience compare to, say, something like Davidstown?
Oh, it's very different. Because so How to Kill Monsters was horror comedy. It was actually more comedy than horror to me. Yeah, it's just so fun. It's like we kind of play around every day. Of course, the same thing is we screamed a lot. Well, so because How to Kill Monsters was more like a comedy, so it's more light-hearted. But Tales from Davidstown definitely has got more depth. It's more darkness in it.
I think we've had a lot more time to sort of develop a character outside of a 90-minute film.
Yes.
Which is useful.
Yes.
I think the running time for everything at the moment is about 7 hours.
Oh, wow.
I think that's what we're up to at the moment.
Wow.
So
Yes.
that's a lot. That's
Yes.
a lot. And considering we started out with very short episodes as well.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
now we've
yes.
kind of expanded a lot.
Yeah,
but
it's great to see they're growing.
But not only when you were in How to Kill Monsters, which is available online, by the way, you can watch this on Amazon and
it's
other great platforms. When you were in How to Kill Monsters, the character you played, Blair, obviously a very different character to Mei Ling, but
Yes.
you were able to show off something I don't think you've mentioned yet, which was some combat skills.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your that particular part of your career and how you got started in being able to dance around with swords and other sharp objects.
Okay. So as I mentioned before, I'm a dancer. So I've been dancing for a long time. I was trained in Chinese dance, and in Chinese dance we learned sword dance. So sword dance is part of Chinese classical dance.
Right.
So when it comes to like combat or fighting scene, my Chinese dance skills can become handy. And then when we were filming How to Kill Monsters, I think one day you asked me, can you do martial arts? I said yes.
I think that was a complete accident.
Yeah, then
I think the story kind of goes is that the character Blair was meant to have a fight scene. We knew that. But we didn't. When you auditioned for that part and it said you had all these extra skills, and I was like, oh my god, she's gonna be amazing. She's gonna be flying around and knows all this awesome stuff. So you was like, it was I don't think it wasn't written in there that you suddenly had martial arts skills. You just happened to have it. And I think like you bring a lot of yourself to Mei Ling, in Blair at least you were able to sort of bring that kind of she can kick ass element to her. So
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I did it's a spoiler as well. I did a Bruce Lee movie.
I remember this.
Yeah.
I remember that. It's great. So yes, if you want to see get a chance to see Fenfen kick ass on screen, How to Kill Monsters, which is available a lot of places. As your career progresses now, you're increasingly getting more into writing yourself. That's right.
Yes.
And what kind of, tell us a bit more about that. What kind of things are you what kind of stories are you looking to tell?
I'm particularly interested in stories about heritage, family, women, and intercultural conflicts and stories. So it's pretty much something related to my own life experience.
I suppose they say write what you know.
Yes.
Even if it's a little bit kind of
out
there.
Yeah, I think so. It's if you write based on what you know, what you experienced, it's more truthful.
Yeah, sure. That's probably the best way of putting it, I think.
Yeah.
It's not...
Maybe I should just be more imaginative.
I don't know. It's what I think you've written some short films.
Yes.
I think you mentioned you had a feature idea as well.
Yes, but also that's kind of based on my life experience. So the feature is a drama comedy, so or like a rom-com, but it's not. Has got quite a lot of drama as well.
Okay.
In it, yeah.
A dramedy.
Dramedy, yes, we call it
dramedy.
dramedy. Yeah, and it's about dating. About
that sounds horrific.
Yeah,
that sounds a lot more scary than.
Yeah, it's very good. Like the dating culture's difference of dating culture in China and UK.
Right.
Yeah, and it's about a Chinese girl who's turning 40, facing a lot of pressure from her mom to get a husband.
Right.
So yes. So it's something quite probably everyone can relate to.
Okay.
Not everyone, but a lot of people can relate to, especially Asian people.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very common. Like your parents, especially mom, will pressurize you to get married, to have kids when you get to a certain age. Yeah.
But no monsters in this one.
No monsters. It depends on how you define monster.
Oh yeah, okay. No werewolves, at least in this one.
No.
Would you, having done Davidstown, or doing Davidstown, I should say, at the moment, do you think that would be something you might write about yourself? Again, maybe sort of drawing from Chinese culture, or even the cultures you've sort of experienced in your travels. Do you think you'd ever write a story based on something like that?
Yeah, that's definitely a very good inspiration for me. So even though I haven't got any idea yet about writing something based on Chinese mythology or legends, but often my writing or stories I'm writing has got Chinese cultural elements in it. So like the short film I made about my late auntie, I had the lotus candle, which is a symbol. It's a symbol of bereavement,
right?
And something you put in the river to pay tribute to your loved one, to your later loved ones.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and also the like the jade bangle. The jade is a very important Chinese jewel, and also the cherry blossom. It comes out in early spring, and early spring is a traditional Chinese Qingmingjie, is a festival when we clean to visit our later loved ones too. So I often include Chinese cultural elements or relevant reference in my films or my writing.
Which makes sense, given it's been such an important part of your life and continues to be, even living in Liverpool.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And Liverpool has got a very close link with Shanghai. And Shanghai is my... I'm from Zhejiang province, so next to Shanghai. And Shanghai is kind of my home region. We speak the same dialect system. So it's a Wu dialect. And also the cuisine is very similar as well. So yeah, so kind of like I'm also from the coast. So Liverpool is definitely has got.
I can see why it
makes me feel at home. Mm-hmm.
Home away from home. Oh,
yes.
Yeah, I suppose. But that's really interesting that there's such a strong cultural tie in between somewhere unexpected like Liverpool.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
and
most
also
people-
the feature I'm writing is actually the story takes place in Liverpool and also Shanghai and my home region. So yeah,
That's amazing. So for anyone listening or watching who wants to get into acting or dancing or performing or voice acting, what advice do you think you'd give them about how to start?
I think it's a life experience is very important for acting. So I would suggest just go out to enjoy life, to go travel, to meet as many people as you want, as you like, and to see different parts of the world, and through observation and learning about other people's stories and about your own journeys can really help your acting. Yeah.
That's great advice. That's great advice. Okay, so we got some random questions to finish off with today. How have you found the experience of playing a character who transforms into another creature?
It's challenging because it's like a multi-dimensional character. And also it's very enjoyable because you get to explore the character so much. It's got so much scope you can play with. And also it's quite interesting to kind of like you live two lives.
Sure.
So like the past life as a fox spirit and then the current life as a human. But also it's kind of like your past might come back to haunt you. Yeah, so there's just so many elements in the story about this character.
Yeah.
I can play. So yeah, it's challenging, but it's definitely enjoyable as well.
And obviously, as we work towards the goal of a live action version of the series in one form or another, there's every opportunity that you may be able to visually perform not just the character, but the more supernatural elements, such as her transformation into a Hu Li Jing. Do you think obviously something that's going to involve a lot of makeup, a lot of mess?
Yes, and the special effect.
Yes. Is that something that you've done before? Are you looking forward to potentially doing that in the future?
Oh, yeah, I'm always up for new challenge. And so as I mentioned before, I played a supernatural character on stage in a dance theater production. So that's quite different because on stage you can't really use CGI or special effect. So I think films will be a great fun.
Yeah.
To do. So,
I think so.
Yeah.
A very different experience.
Yes, it would be very different.
But it would be a challenge, but that's what we're aiming for.
Yes.
So support us today if you aren't already. Fantastic. Well, it's been amazing to have you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
As always. I know we'll be seeing you back in York, here in York again for more recording sessions and maybe even more of this.
Great.
But it's been amazing to see you. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thanks for watching. If you've got any questions for Fenfen or indeed any of the other members of the cast or team, do let us know in the comments section because we will likely be chatting with them at some point and we'll be able to put your questions directly to them. But for now, thank you very much for listening/watching, and do check out our Patreon to support the project because we only exist because of our fans, and the continued support of our fans for the show is absolutely crucial. And fingers crossed, we are still going to be working towards the live action part of the project. But for now, you can enjoy Season 1 being rolled out on all the major streaming platforms, including YouTube. Season 2 is available in its current state on Patreon, so you can listen to new episodes super early access by being a Patreon member. Not to mention our audiobook, 1916, and our graphic novels, of course, which further flesh out the universe of Tales from Davidstown. That's all from me for now. I've been Cal. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.